Okay, so today we're going to talk about Equalizer and anything important about it. So the most thing is in bronze and stuff like that, Equalizer is generally very low mana, 20 mana and below, or maybe even 12 mana. But basically the way you want to play Equalizer is you don't want to be the one that has to put the big minion. So if you're the one that plays the Goblin Mech, then all of a sudden the ones that have a whole bunch of small minions, they win. Like, you don't want to be the one that plays the cube and they've got all these small minions. So obviously you want minions that have high armor and low HP to benefit the most. So there's various strategies, but some of the most useful cards to get will obviously be cards like Enchanted Defender, which are just amazing. Even if you don't have, this is obviously for gold, but even if you don't have the one with thorns at level 5, you can still just have 6 armor, 1 HP, 2 damage, which is just amazing. And you put that in the front line and it does all the beefiness for you. You can also just have your chicken, your creeping ooze, these 1 to 0 mana cards that just become your beefy front lines so that your ranged and your magic damage and even your assassins can have an extra layer or an extra wall of protection. So in terms of neutrals, you definitely want the Enchanted Defender, you definitely want your Creeping Ooze, you definitely want your Chicken. Other useful cards in terms of neutrals, I can't think of any. I quite like the Halving Alchemist, but that's more of a luxury just because it's got a little bit of armor, it's got really good spells, and you just put it in the front line, in the back line to just do some damage. Dragon, honestly, I don't use Dragon at all when it comes to this because all of the Dragon minions have like 6, maybe a black dragon, but all the other ones have super high HP, no mana, no armor, so don't use dragon. In terms of death has a few really cool ones, like a vampire is really good. Other good cards would be the Screaming Banshee, because you get explosion, a high amount of damage, no HP, very good. Soulstorm, very good. You'd look at for cards like that. You might even consider the Grim Reaper, but 5 is still a little bit on the high side. But yeah, if you put your Enchanted Defend in the front to soak the damage, and then you backed it up with some magic from the Screaming Banshee, and then your Soulstorm, as well as your Vampire, you're good to go. In terms of life is also one of those teams that have a lot of HP, so like when I ever see Equalizer, life is one of the ones that I tend to avoid, because it's all just a very big, beefy really good. So you put the Armor Smith in the front with a Lone Boatman, and then you'd follow it up with something like the Defender of Truth, and then in the front, if you don't want to put anything, you put the Enchanted Defender from neutrals, or you just put in your Chicken and your Gluttonous Ooze to take. Spirit Druid is huge, so you definitely want to play him because 1 HP, plus you'll have your Lifelex, plus you'll have Resurrect. So if you put Enchanted Defender plus Resurrect, you're in for a good time. Like, that's how you play life basically, and then a whole bunch of low mana, and then you can just put in things like your Vulture or your Goblin Sorcerers and stuff like that, and even a Wood Nymph. Okay, water, I like to play water a lot. One of the really cool ones is the Fighter, the Tortoise, because he's got really good armor, decent damage, bad HP, but he's got shield, plus he's got his own repair. So I like to play the Fighter, I like to play Seaweed, like those two already are just the foundation to a water deck with Equalizer. But you can follow this up with pretty much like Ruler of the Seas, Coral Wraiths. There's a lot of low HP cards that you can drop in. But if you play water, these are your bread and butter. A high damage opportunity card with low health, and then a really good tank once he gets more health. Even put a Crustacean King and then a Pirate Captain. Like, those 4 cards already become your ultimate Equalizer water deck. With fire is my favorite, and that's why I left it for last. You want to play an Exploding Dwarf. Just doesn't matter what you do in life, you put the Exploding Dwarf in front, unless there's like an opportunity, because then you could put your Enchanted Defender in front, and then Exploding Dwarf later. But you want to play Exploding Dwarf. You want to play your Serpian Spy If you go in the melee route, you could then add your Cobalt Miner as well as the neutral cards, but if you don't want to play the melee way and you want to play archers, they've some of the best archers in the game come from fire. You could put in any of the low levels that have like 3 HP and 2 damage. You can put in your pixies with 3 HP and 3 damage and stun. You can put in a fire mental, same thing, and there's just some really good low HP minions in fire. But yeah, hopefully this helps you guys, and let me know.